Paul Bonder here from Bond Insurance Group. I've had people over the years ask me all the time about specific different types of coverages, the way things are called. Is it bobtail? Do I need phys dam? Do I need cargo? Do I need cargo liability? If I'm an owner out, do I need my own filing? If he's not under dispatch, where does the claim go? These types of things. And the fact is, if you're working with a qualified agent will help the client navigate through these types of questions. But I think it's really important to get to a higher level to have the client start to be able to understand some of these aspects, and then you form a better relationship with the agent and the insurance planning and controlling the safety, controlling the risk that you may have in understanding what the specifics might be. So we're going to go through the coverages real quick. And I think this might help some of the questions, some of the folks that are getting into the trucking business that might be newer, or some of the people that maybe have been in the business for quite some time, but they're not quite necessarily sure what the difference of coverages could be. So the first thing that you have when you're a trucking company is you have liability. Liability covers third-party property damage and third-party bodily injury. So it's a bodily injury property damage claim. So in other words, if you have a truck and you hit somebody's car, if you have a truck that causes injury to another person, a truck that hits a school bus full of kids, whether it's any of those situations or anything else, you've created harm to a third person, a third party. And that's what liability seeks to remedy. It's the most expensive part of the trucking insurance coverage because it's typically written at $1 million limit. And then you can buy excess liability, excess umbrella to go out over the top of that. Your next coverage that truckers have to have is called cargo. And a lot of times people call it cargo liability. Brokers call it this for some reason. But cargo covers the freight that you're actually hauling. So if you're hauling different types of freights, like maybe it's a load of copper, electronics, pharmaceuticals, cars, all these things, anything that gets transported from one location to a final destination on a truck is covered under our cargo form. And then you have the coverage for the truck itself. And the truck and the trailer is equipment, right? And that's called physical damage. So your phys dam, which a lot of people I've heard over the years refer to this as bobtail incorrectly. Your phys dam is the coverage for the actual equipment itself. Your bobtail would be when an owner operator or an independent contractor has completed the load, is no longer operating under the motor carrier's authority. He has what's called a bobtail non-truck liability policy while he's not under dispatch. And then the next coverage that's important is we're taking care of the truck, we're taking care of the cargo, we're taking care of other persons or other things. But what about the driver? Okay, you got drivers, and drivers can get injured, drivers can get killed. You need to protect the driver. And for any W-2 driver, the remedy in all states is workers' compensation. A lot of other states allow, if you have 1099 drivers, owner operators, they will allow also consideration for what's called occupational accident, called OCAC for short. And then you can get into general liability. And general liability will cover your premises liability, meaning somebody comes to your location on your parking lot, they get injured in your parking lot at your location, they get injured in your office location. You need to protect your office location, your other parking areas that you may have, terminals that you may have under a general liability policy. And then we can get into some other policies that people don't know about, which all phys dam policies and cargo policies typically cover for theft, but they don't cover theft of drivers. So little do most people know that if you have a driver that steals your cargo, your truck, because you gave them the keys, that is typically always excluded under a cargo and phys dam policy. So about 14 years ago, we made a specific policy just for driver theft and embezzlement out of office situations as well. And those are the main components that you can look at. We can fine tune some things with some other aspects. Sometimes people are concerned about, we call it employment practices liability. If you have a concern where somebody was not hired and they sue you for wrongful failure to hire or wrongful termination, maybe you discriminated against somebody because of their age, their color, their race, gender, whatever those situations might be. There's a way to insulate and protect the client from that type of policy. And we give advice for customers with smaller situations, which is called first dollar, where you don't have any deductible, all the way up to larger deductible programs. And in some case, we partner with clients to help them with self-insured solutions if they can qualify and fund those solutions. So we'll be giving more information on these particular different sorts of coverages in greater detail as we go. But for right now, I just wanted to start off with giving some folks some generic information because there's a lot of confusion in the marketplace. People are calling cargo policies, but they actually are referring to liability because they're mixing up the different vernaculars. And when we want to work with our clients, we want to make sure that we're identifying the particular sorts of policies in the correct fashion, help the client understand the differences. Because when a claim occurs, reporting it to the right insurance company is really important. And having that understanding where the client is informed is a very important aspect of the process. And we help to bring that level up. So keep posted. We're going to have more videos coming, and we're going to keep working to give you guys the solutions and the information to make you successful. Thank you.